So now we start the part related to the interruption. That is a very important part for the referee. And I can say it is the nightmare of the referee. Because the interruption is a problem that occurs immediately, and you are not advised. And when it is these things happened, you have to decide immediately and without so much time what to do. So it's really important that the referee are prepared and the referee is ready to take the correct decision. And to do this without problems, it means that you have to be really ready and to know all the possible circumstances. Okay, so we will go one by one to see, and I will try to be as more clear as possible and to understand how you have to proceed. The rules related to the interruption is Rule 515 for single and pair and ice dance, and 965 for synchronized skating. What is an interruption? An interruption is when the program is, for any reason, stopped to be performed. So have in mind that when the skater, for any reason, stops to perform, not to skate, to perform the program, that is considered an interruption. We can summarize the interruption into big categories. For the faults related to the skaters, and for faults unrelated to the skater. Now we are going to see the interruption for faults related to the skaters. There are two possible situations. The skater stops himself, or the performance is stopped by the referee through a loud acoustic signal. In both of these situations, the music is not stopped. This is very, very important because, as we will see, the music has to be played in this kind of situation. And the music has to be stopped only if the referee commands to stop the music. And when the referee at the beginning maybe stopped the performance of the skater, that doesn't mean that the music has to be stopped. This has to be clarified very well by the referee through the organizers, because sometimes the organizers that are not expert, when the referee signed and stopped the performance with the acoustic signal, they stop also the music, and this is wrong, and this becomes a problem. The interruption time, and that is very important because you have to be ready to record the time of the interruption, you or the timekeeper, or both, that will be the best situation, immediately after the skater interrupts the performance, or immediately after the referee signal. Clearly, if the referee is making the signal, you are ready as a referee to start to take the time, because it's your decision, so you immediately start to record the time. Different is when the skater stops to perform, because you need some time to realize that the skater is stopping the performance. For example, I just can tell you, if the skaters fall down, after each fall you are not starting to record the time, because generally the skaters are getting up and go. But if the skaters stay and lie on the ice, after maybe 2-3 seconds, you realize that maybe there is an interruption. So you start to record the time. So in this case, the time is not so precise. So you have to be careful and to start to recording as soon as you can, and after you try to calculate how much time it was before you're starting the time. Maybe it's 2 seconds, 3 seconds, you just make an average. But please be ready to start to record the time quite soon. So you cannot do immediately, the most of the time, but quite soon. Because otherwise, more time it passed, less precise you are in the recording time. If the referee gives the signal, and the acoustic signal, the skater must interrupt the performance. So it's not the choice of the skater to decide if to go on or not. If the referee, for any reason, decides to stop the performance, the skater has to stop to skate. And this signal is also indicating to the judges and to the technical panel that they have to stop to evaluate the performance. So if skaters are doing element after the sign of the referee, these elements are not judged and are not evaluated by the panel. So he has, in this case, to do it again in case it is there is this situation. If a skater does not understand the reason why the referee has given this signal, in any case, within the interruption time, and after we'll see what it is, this interruption time, he has to approach the referee and ask the reason. So if there is not understandable the reason why it is the referee has decided to stop the performance. Maybe it could be something not related to the skater, it could be something outside, or maybe it's something related to the skaters, and the referee, for some reason, and after we can see what could be, decide to do it. This kind of interruption, so I mean the interruption related to the fault of the skater, just to remember you, we are in this chapter, are divided into following cases. Interruption of up to 40 seconds and interruption of 3 minutes. We call it this way, the two kind of interruption. Interruption up to 40 seconds start immediately after the skater stops to perform. So it is what we are saying, the fall down, an injury, a problem with the costume, problem with the skates, and the music, as we said, is not stopping. So during the interruption up to 40 seconds, the music is playing. The reason could be many for this kind of interruption. Could be fall, could be injury, could be health problem with the costume, problem with the skates, mental problem of the skaters. But we can have other possibility. I mean, these are the most frequent. The skaters has maximum 40 seconds to resolve the problem. So if, for example, there is a problem with a costume or with the lace of the skater, he has 40 seconds to try to remedy the problem. And the skaters continue the program after remedies the adverse condition, and there is no need for any signal to indicate the moment when the skater resumes the performance, as this moment is quite clearly visible. Also because you don't need, because you are recording the time, but the program is not stopped, so it is evaluated without stopping to evaluate the program. It is, there is the interruption, but the program goes in the time of the program normally, without any kind of real break. If the skater needs more than 40 seconds, because maybe for some reason 40 seconds are not enough, before the 40 seconds expired, he has to come and communicate to the referee himself or through a designated person and inform the referee that he needs to have 3 minutes time break. So an additional time of 3 minutes. The referee then commands to stop the music. This is the moment in which the music has to be stopped. So if the music is stopped, means that we are in the 3 minutes interruption, and that's change some other situation related to the program. But the music is stopped only if we are turning in the 3 minutes interruption. And the interruption turns, as I said, to the 40-second interruption to the 3 minutes interruption. When starts the 3 minutes? The 3 minutes starts immediately after the referee signal. So when the referee decided that starts the 3 minutes. So this is a very easy moment to start to record, because again, it's the referee that decide when to start the recording of the 3 minutes. The referee shall decide and indicate in the consultation with the technical controller when the point of interruption is, and the point from when the competitor has to continue the program shall be decided and communicated to the competitors, to the judges and the technical panel. Is either the point of the interruption, that is the most logical point, or if the technical panel decides that is the interruption occur in the entrance or during an element, is the point immediately following this element. Okay, so mainly the interruption can happen for after an element, maybe, or during an element. And so in this case, the point of they resume the program is immediately after the element. In some cases, maybe for health reason, can be in any moment, and so the interruption, the skater has to start the program after this moment. Now, what is the deduction by the referee? The deductions are different, related to the different kind of interruption. So, if we are in the interruption of the 40 seconds, the first 10 seconds are given for free. So there is no deduction if, and this prevents to the most of the situation in which there is, for example, a fall and the skater is just takes some seconds to get up, or if there is a very short break for the costume, for example, and they stops to perform the remediate the situation very quickly, and it is only 10 seconds. So if it is within 10 seconds, it is there is no deduction by the referee. After the program is anyway have a possible deduction in components, and so because there is an interruption. But for the referee, there is no deduction in this first 10 seconds. And after we have 1 point after each 10 seconds. So from 11 to 20 is 1 point, from 21 to 30 seconds is 2 points, and from 31 to 40 seconds it is 3 points. So the maximum that you can deduct if there is an interruption of 40 seconds is 3 points. After these 40 seconds, the music is stopped and the skater is considered withdrawn unless we are going into the deduction of 3 minutes. So in case that there is no communication or it is decided not to go to this 3 minutes interruption, after 40 seconds the skater is considered withdrawn. If we are going to the 3 minutes interruption, the deduction is only 5 points, and is applied by the referee. Why I said only 5 points? It's because it's the next slide, that if we have 40 seconds interruption, or a little bit less than 40 seconds, we can say 35, 38 seconds, and after the skater asks for the 3 minutes break, the final deduction is only 5 points. Please remember this, because some referees make a little bit of confusion and deduct 3 points for the 40 seconds interruption and 5 points for the 3 minutes, and it is 8 points. That is totally wrong. There is is understandable, because finally what you are saying, but how long can be an interruption, can be 40 seconds plus 3 minutes, because this is the reality. So you have more than 3 minutes. And if you go immediately, not without the first part of the 40 seconds to the 3 minutes deduction, you have anyway 5 points. So you have less time, but you are going anyway in the 5 points. But we thought it was too severe to go from one to another, and these 5 points are enough if you have an interruption. So it's in any case for the interruption is only 5 points. We have talked about the interruption related to the fault of the skater. So this, and it is the most common situation. But we can have, as I said, a second chapter that is interruption for a fault unrelated to the skater. So what are the interruption not related to the fault of the skater? It's for any reason, not due directly to the skater. The program has to be stopped and interrupted. There is no deduction will be applied. And this is independent of the time of interruption. So you don't have to record, or better, you have to record, but for another reason, the interruption time, but the skater, if has no fall, and there is, and so there is no deduction at all. What could be, I have not the slides for that, interruption not related to the fall of the skater. Could be music problem, for example, if the music is stopped or is not played. Could be problem related to the audience. Could be something that, as Alina said, is falling on the ice, maybe from the roof. It is, could be a problem of power of the ice rink. Maybe sometimes goes out the power and there is no music, no light. Light is another problem. Sometimes the light change suddenly and there is not the same condition in which they started the program or they have the warming up. So everything it is that could be related to the something that it is around the skaters, but not directly to the skaters. And in some cases we can have also the public that it is making protest and they are throwing something on the ice rink, maybe not for this special skater, but just to protest for something against the mayor of the city. Or so everything that can be considered danger for the skater, or that can be put the skater in not the perfect situation, and you have to guarantee that all the skaters should have the same condition when they are performing. In case there is this interruption, and this interruption lasts more than 10 minutes, the competitors concerned, but not only this competitor, also all the other competitors that has not skated in the same group, they must have the right to have another warming up period of 6 minutes or 5 minutes related to ice dance. So it's in case this interruption is longer than 10 minutes, in some cases I have to tell you that could be even the following days. Because if, for example, there is no power anymore in the ice rink, you cannot continue and you have to postpone the event of one day. And in this case, the poor skater has to start the half of the program in the next day, but clearly he has to have the new warming up and a new evaluation. It's hopefully this is not happening so frequently, but it is possible, and we have to provide all the possibilities. That's the reason, because you have to start to record the time also when it is not related to the fault of the skaters. Because if it is more than 10 minutes, and 10 minutes is very long, I have to tell you, it's very long. So you have to, anyway, when there is an interruption, to start to record and after to understand what is happening and if it is possible to remedy the situation. We can have some special situation. Special, they are not really so special, but they are very rare. But it's important that you know. Something that can happen during the warming up. So it is not during the time in which the competitor is performing the program, but it is something that it is related in other moments. And so if a skater or a pair or an ice dance couple within the first starting number group is injured during the warming up period, and so before he starts the performance, and the time is not enough to remediate the situation, so he can have a concussion, for example, during a crash during the warming up, or can be a problem with the costume, or again a problem with the health of the skaters. In this case, the first skaters is a little bit penalized respect to the others, because everybody has at least one skater, one program in which they can remedy the situation. So the fact is that the number one, immediately after the warming up, has to go on the ice, and he has no time. So to put him in the situation at least like the second skaters, you can allow 3 minutes before calling, and before calling him to the stars. And in this case, the 3 minutes, it is you have not to penalize the skater. So there is no deduction about that. Only if it is the first one of the group. Another situation is when the competitor is entering the ice, but it is not cold. So maybe just entering, fall down, and he has a problem. So in this case, if it is necessary, you can give the 3 minutes, but for all the skaters it's the same situation, because entering the ice, it's valid for everyone. It's not related to the warming up, it's just the enter. And so in this case, you have 5-point deduction to be applied. So it's like if you have interrupted the program. And the last, it is when you are cold. So the skater is cold, and before taking the position, the starting position, you know the skater has 30 seconds, and after 30 seconds they have other 30 seconds with 1-point deduction, and so they have 1 minute practically before starting. If they cannot resolve the problem within this 1 minute, they can ask the 3 minutes again, and again there will be 5-point deduction. So in this case, again, there will be 5-point deduction. Everything is clear till now? Okay. Now, medical problem. I would like a little bit to highlight this situation, because there was also a discussion during these days about medical problem related to the skater during the performance. And I just read what it is, the 2 slides, and after makes a couple of comments. So if the opinion of the referee, for the safety of the skater, medical attention is required, he must stop the performance. So the referee must stop the performance by the acoustic signal and following the medical protocol. After consulting the respective team physician or the doctors, if they are present, provided by the organizer, the referee will decide if the competitor is allowed to continue or not. In case of interruption for the medical reason, a deduction must be applied. And the deduction is following the same situation. If it is within the 40 seconds, it is the deduction that we have seen, so up to 3 points. If it is, in general, it is this second situation, the 3 minutes, it will be a deduction of 5 points. But if the referee do not stop the performance, a letter of assignment must be considered for not fulfilling his duty. This is the point in which I would like to highlight a little bit. What is the health problem of skaters, and what are when are the cases in which the referee has to stop the skater? You have to try most of you are not doctors, so it's very difficult for people that are not doctors to understand when it is a very grave situation and when it is not a grave situation. But in any case, if you have the feeling that there is a problem that can be danger for the skater, it's your duty to stop the skater. Clearly, if you see the skater is not feeling so well, and so for this reason maybe the performance is not the best, this is okay, you have not to stop the skater for this reason. I mean, it's not logical. But if you see that there is some situation in which it is could be danger to continue the program, is your duty to stop. Which are these situations? The most of the time is when the skater, for any reason, has an injury that hit the head and the brain. So if they have a concussion, if they fall down in a very bad way, in pair skating we have cases in which from a lift the lady is going down, hitting the head and staying on the ice without conscience anymore. I mean, this is clearly the case in which you have to stop. Remember that to continue a program when you have a concussion with your brain could be so dangerous for your life. You can die if there is something that it is going on. If there is hemorrhage in your head, you can die if you continue the program. So you have to stop. Please don't be afraid to stop a skater because you have to give the 5 points. It's much less. 5 points is nothing related to the health of the skater. So please stop the skaters. When it is a very big concussion, I want to say it's easier for the referee. I mean, it's a dramatic moment, but it's easy for the referee that has to stop. The skater probably do not stand up, lying on the ice, so it's logical immediately to stop. Some other times is a little bit more questionable. If you have a nose bleeding, for example, do you have to stop the skater or not? I think that also depends how much is bleeding, how much is the moment in which the skater starts to bleed and related to the end of the program. If it is the last 15 seconds, I will not stop the skater. If it is in the first minute, maybe it's better to stop the skaters. So there are many situations on the border, and the problem is always in this situation. But please, what I would like really to highlight is when you see a skater that hit the head on the ice, strongly or not strongly, and you see that something is not going on well within, please stop. It's much better and much safe. So don't be afraid to stop the performance. And I have to tell this also because during the season there was cases in which this was not done, and it was after it was very criticized not to have stopped the performance. And after that you have the medical that are helping you to take a decision if to continue or not to continue, to let the skater and to allow the skater to continue the program. So after this moment it will be much easier for you to take a decision. Sometimes the decision is difficult in any case, but at least you have the advice, and please, the most of the time, follow the advice of the medical. In case the referee decide that it is not, the skater are not in the condition to continue the program, the skater is considered withdrawn. And but if the referee decide to, if the referee decide to continue to let the skaters to continue the program, the 5 points deduction has to be applied. Remember that anyway the maximum time is 3 minutes. So if there is a very big serious problem that cannot be resolved in 3 minutes, the skater is to consider withdrawn. So you cannot go over and over waiting the skaters are able to continue. There is a couple of things still. Music deficiency. If the tempo of the quality of the music is not correct, the competitor may restart the program from the beginning. This is the only case in which the skater can start the program from the beginning. All the other cases, independent of any reason, related to the skater, unrelated to the skater, health problem, injury or so, they cannot restart the program. The only cases it is when there is a music deficiency, and in this case, the skater has to report that the music is not correct to the referee within 20 seconds. So if it is within 20 seconds, everything is cancelled and the skater starts the program since the beginning. If this report is after 20 seconds, the competitor cannot start the program from the beginning, but from the point in which he communicates that the music is wrong. So if the tempo or the music is wrong, at that time it will be decided, and the skater will continue the program from the time of interruption. And if this interruption is occurred during an element or immediately preceding, or at the entrance of the element or during an element, the point of in which they restart, it is immediately preceding this element. If the music for any reason is stopping, without maybe any command of the referee, but maybe for technical reason, the skater has to stop to perform, and the judges has to stop the evaluation. In this case, again, the competitors start the program when the problem is solved, and in the moment in which it is starting is generally at the moment of the interruption or preceding the element before the interruption. Clearly, there is no deduction for interruption due to the music deficiency, because it is not considered fault of the skater, and so it's not related to the skater. It is considered related to organizing committee. Sometimes the organizing committee is saying that it is not their fault, but it is the clips that was given that was not correct, but it's not important. I mean, it's not your problem, and you have not to resolve this problem. It is decided that when there is a music problem, it's not related to the skater, so there is no deduction for that. And if the competitor does not complete the program for the interruption or for any reason, no marks has to be allowed and awarded, and the competitor is considered withdrawn. So if again, there is no possibility to complete the program, even if only 5 seconds are less, if there is no finishing the program because of, for example, of injury, it's the competitor is considered withdraw. So it's not related to the time in which the program has to be finished. It's related to the fact that the competitor has not finished the program, and this is a rule. Okay, now we have some examples, but do you have any questions before? Yes? Julia?
Do you remember it was international competition in Zagreb this season, senior pair?
Yes.
It was really bad fall from the lift.
Yes.
And the lady decided to finish the program with a death spiral. What do you think? In this case, referees should stop the program or not?
Yeah, I have to say that just making the question, it is not possible to say if it was correct or not, because we should see the situation. But because I know the situation, it's the fact is that there was a real problem of hurt of the skaters, so the referee has to stop and to give the 3 minutes, and after that to decide if to continue the program or not. So the fact is that it's when it is a serious problem for the health of the skaters, as I said, you have to stop the skaters. And after, with the medical advice, you can decide if to allow the skater to continue or not. But if you don't stop the skaters, you are not giving this possibility to discuss with the medical, and you are not giving 3 minutes that in many cases are enough to resolve the problem. So, and to understand if the situation is serious or not serious. So the fact is that it's really for the referee is a very good thing to have this possibility to stop the performance, to wait 3 minutes, to have the advice of the medical, of the ice rink, of the physicians that are with the skaters, and to make the proper decision. So probably it's could be that the skaters can continue the program, but you have to have some information related to the possibility to continue or not. So in case of a very serious injury, it's I would suggest all the time to stop the skaters, It's hard, I understand, to give 5 points, but as I said, when you have a serious injury, or you see the skaters that are not performing because of health problem, the whole program is in a way affected, and there is many losing points for elements, for components, and so the 5 points deduction finally do not affect so much the performance. Okay? Yes? Yes?
I wonder how to deal in the same program if you first have a problem with the skates and maybe the interruption is 7 seconds or something like that, and then you continue for 1 minute doing the program, and then you have a new problem for 8 seconds. Do you have a new period of 10 seconds for free, or do you continue with from 8?
Yeah. No, you have each time you stop, the 3 minutes you can have only once. But the 40 seconds you can have many, and all the time it starts. You have the 10 seconds for free. So the fact is that you have several with a little bit of a short interruption. This affects the program components, the whole program, but there is no deduction for that. So if you do an interruption of 5 seconds, and after you start to perform again, and after you have another interruption of 5 seconds, and after you stop again, you perform again, and after another interruption of maybe 15 seconds, you get only 1 point.
I see.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes?
So I have a question related to the fault of the skater in that category. So fault of the skater realizes it, starts to address the situation. After 10 seconds, we start the clock. That's clear. Judges are judging through that whole period of time. You had a slide that said, still fault of the skater, but the referee blows a whistle. That's a signal to the judges to stop judging. I thought that you only stop judging when the music stops, because it wouldn't be treating the skaters the same in the fault of the skater under 40 seconds.
Yeah, I understand. The fact is that you're correct in a way that the judges has to evaluate the performance if it is within the 40 seconds. If there is an interruption, they are not evaluating really because you are not doing an element, and they are advised that there is an interruption. So, but within the 40 seconds, you are evaluating whatever it is going on. Yes, 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 it's correct. Yes, components, it's very affected by a long interruption, and you are evaluating. You are evaluating because you are not performing. You're not really evaluating what you are doing in these 40 seconds because you are maybe, yes. Yes, the whole things. Yes, yes. Yes, it is correct.
When you hear the music stop is when you stop
judging. Yeah.
If you hear the whistle go, you're still
Yes, I agree with you. Yes. Yeah. Yes?
I have a question. It is a situation that happened at an event that I was at. So the skater is called to start. They come within the 20 seconds saying their music is not correct. No problem. Upon arriving at the knowledge that the music was never handed in correctly by the skater. Is this now the fault of the skater or not? And
No, I've not understood correctly.
So they take the call to start, music starts,
Yes.
and they come over and say, that's not our music.
Yes.
Incorrect music. No problem, I understand.
Yes.
Then as they try to fix the problem from the music, they never have the correct music. The athletes never put the music in correctly.
Yeah.
Is that now the fault of the skater, and should that be considered for any deduction?
Yeah, it's a situation that really, you can have so many situations that cannot be explained and you have to resolve. So the fact is that you cannot skate without music. That is one thing. If there is no your music, because you have not provided your music, or your music is lost somewhere, or you do not skate, and that's so you are considered withdrawn, or you skate with the music that the organizer has provided. You are in a way.
That's exactly what they did.
Clearly, it's not really related to the fault of the skater, but you cannot say, okay, comes back and you skate at the end of the competition and try to find your music. You have maximum 3 minutes, and maybe a little bit more in this case, because but you cannot wait hours to get their correct music. So it's.
I understand.
Yeah.
So in this case, no deduction, or do you apply a deduction?
No, you don't apply a deduction
Perfect.
for the music. Maybe the program is not the best, because if the music is not the correct one,
Okay.
clearly at least the components will be affected. But it's, yes. Microphone.
One of our skaters in our competition handed her short program instead of free skating music. So she realized that when we played, so we kind of gave her like interruption, like 3 minutes to remedy the situations. Is it correct way to apply it or not?
No, I mean it's a music problem. So I think that she realized after the first second that it is not the correct music. So in this case, she's coming, within the 20 seconds, she say it's not the correct program, it's my short program music. So the organizer will change the music, hoping that they have the music inside the computer, or anyway, where is the music cabin for that. And she starts the new program without any deduction, and it's not the 3 minutes, because it is something unrelated to the skaters. So there is no really a timing limit. But clearly he has to skate in this moment, and
But my point is, skater handed the wrong music. She never gave us the right music. So it depends on her fault or not.
Yes,
That's my confusion.
I have to tell you that the music problem some years ago was related to the fault of the skaters. So in this case, you give the 3 minutes and that's all. But because after it is very difficult to understand when really it is the fault of the skater and when it is the fault of the organizer or technical problem. So because it's not really possible to decide whose fault is the situation, it was decided that when it is related to the music, is not considered fault of the skater, even if in some cases the skater has a fault. So it's just to make black and white, because otherwise you can have so many different situations, and sometimes the referee are taking different decisions and making different penalties. So it was some years ago decided this way. Okay, we have to finish because, yes, Leanna, another one?
Yeah, in the case of not the fault of the skater. Not the fault of the skater.
Yes.
And as a referee, then you consult with your technical controller to see if if they say the interruption happened at the entrance to or during the element. If they come back and say it happened at the entrance to or during the element, it says that you resume from the point preceding.
Yes.
But what if the element was done successfully and the skater wishes not to redo that great element?
Yeah, again, I think that you have to decide by your experience, and in most of the cases, the principle is to go in favor of the skater. So if you have something that happened during the element or just preceding the element, for example, the lights, and you have a jump, and the light goes out immediately after the jumps, and you fold the jumps. Maybe you fold because the technique was bad, but in some cases you can presume that the losing of the lights is affecting your situation. So in this case, I will go in favor of the skaters and allow the skater to repeat the jumps. But that depends a little bit. So if it is a step sequence and it is the last 2 steps and something happened, I will not maybe allow the skater to repeat that because it is not really affecting. So it depends a little bit of the situation.
Can you also, following up on this conversation, clarify, it states they do the element preceding the interruption if it's in the middle. But it also goes on to say, in this case, the respective element shall not be called by the technical panel. So is this an element that's evaluated by the judges? Do we instruct the judges to say, yes, you evaluate the one that they did prior, or up to the point of interruption,
yes,
or
no,
do they lose the
the referee
element
has to
value?
be very clear and to say to the judges if they have to evaluate or not an element, and again with the technical panel decide if the element has to be called or not. So it's a decision that you have to take with the technical panel to decide when the point of interruption is and when to restart the program. If you decide that the program has to restart after the element, in this case the element has to be evaluated, called and evaluated for what it is. If you decide that it should be before, this element has to be called the second time and evaluated the second time, not the first time. It's very, very rare circumstances, I mean, because if the interruption unrelated to the fault of the skater happened exactly in the middle of the element, I mean, it's very, very rare. But we have to think all the possibilities and all the...
So in all cases, the skater should not be penalized for an interruption that's not their fault?
Yes.
Okay.
At least with the deduction, so no deduction. But also, in my opinion, you should give the chance, if this happened and the problem happened because inside of an element and is unrelated to the skaters, to give the chance to remediate the situation. Okay. It's fine because we are quite late. So I had also some examples, but I'm sorry not to show, but we are anyway 15 minutes later, and we have to stop and to make the coffee break. Maybe after I can show you if you want. Okay? So, thank you very much.